Despite the mainstream media and some deranged Disney Star Wars fans' best efforts to convince people of the opposite, the reality is inescapable. The Acolyte is the biggest Disney Star Wars failure we've ever seen. It was the least viewed Disney Star Wars show we've ever seen on Disney+. The reviews were absolutely abysmal. And despite some Disney Star Wars YouTubers and Amanda Stenberg fans and Acolyte supporters desperately trying to get people like myself deplatformed simply because we, along with the vast majority of people, didn't like the show, those efforts, it turns out, were in vain. Just like their efforts to get the Acolyte renewed, when the people that arranged this targeted attack, they were pretty much BTFO'd by Team YouTube. When Team YouTube said, hey, we've reviewed those channels and no, they haven't done anything against terms of service. Sorry, go fuck yourselves. Well, it looks like Disney is taking this lesson to heart, this failure of the Acolyte, along with so many of their other projects, because a new report is coming out that kind of goes in line with some things we've heard about Disney before. Star Wars will be reducing its TV output, report. Thank God, because what they've been putting out on Disney Plus, for the most part, with a few exceptions, has been horrifically bad. And this is not just tied to something like The Acolyte. We know The Acolyte viewership was abysmal. We know it was bad. But when you look across the landscape of all the different things they've done over the past several years, take something like Ahsoka. You know what the least viewed finale was before The Acolyte came out? It was Ahsoka. And this is following the Book of Boba Fett's very disappointing series. This is following Mando Season 3's massive drop-off in viewership and also just getting absolutely torched for how terrible it was. And now it looks like Star Wars is realizing, hey, you know what? We can't keep spending $180 million on these things. We really need to cut back. According to insiders, Disney may be decreasing its Star Wars TV output over the next couple years. Since the release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, the spacefaring franchise has been exclusively bound to the small screen. Ever since then, the galaxy far, far away has released an average of 2 live-action streaming series a year. The most recent was the polarizing Acolyte, which ended its 1-season run in July. Star Wars TV strategy is reportedly in the midst of a major change. Insider has shared he heard the iconic sci-fi franchise is set to reduce the number of live-action TV series it releases per year from 2 to 1. And obviously, it kind of depends on the year, depends what's going on. We just had the Acolyte in summer, Skeleton Crew's releasing later this year. Andor is the next thing up. I think that'll be the only Disney Star Wars series that gets released in 2025. Ahsoka might be the year after that, but you look across the landscape, and other than Andor, right? Andor, which had a very weak viewership opening, and then crescendoed towards the end as it got such great word of mouth. You look at something like Obi-Wan that fell off a cliff and failed. You look at The Acolyte, which fell off a cliff. You look at Ahsoka, which fell off a cliff. You look at Mando Season 3 fell off a cliff. There is no momentum with these things. This is the right thing for Disney to do in general. Especially, listen, if they were putting out great content, yeah, sure, put out 2 or 3 a year. But when so much of it is dog shit, not only are you not going to get a return on your investment, but you're also just going to make people fucking tired of Star Wars. And that is the sad reality for some of these things out there. There will be a handful of people that just gobble up everything and say, well, any Star Wars is good Star Wars. I'm just grateful we're getting Star Wars. Why would you be grateful if someone is putting dog shit in your mouth? Why would you thank them for that? And I do think with so many of these big budget failures that Star Wars specifically has seen on Disney Plus, I think that's one of the reasons they're looking back to the theaters and say, hey, if we're going to spend $100, $150, $180 million on this stuff and continue to lose money hand over fist, we might as well just put it out in the theaters and hopefully be able to recoup a little bit more of that money. The Acolyte is just one of many embarrassing failures. It's certainly the worst that they've ever seen, as indicated by the fact that it's not getting a season 2. But it looks like when it comes to Disney Plus, after 5 years of dog shit, Lucasfilm may finally be admitting, hey, maybe this was a bad idea. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.